Hi all, we are doing components of fitness today for GCSE AQA. Now before we start, just a couple of gentle reminders. Remember, you can pause this, you can rewind it. If you don't understand, you can go back right to the beginning, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you can take as long as you want on this presentation, okay, to make sure that you get all the right notes down. Okay, let's begin. So components of fitness now. There are 10 components of fitness. So there's the 10. We've done them alphabetically, okay, so it's easier for you to remember. So, first off, agility. So, not only would you need to know the definition of this, alright, which is being able to move and change direction quickly at speed whilst maintaining balance, you need to apply it to a practical situation, and this is really important. Now, there should be a link on there, so if you want a demonstration or a practical example of this, how it's done, alright, please click on the link, alright, and I'll give you a good visual experience of what agility should look like. For the sportsman, it's all about changing direction at speed. So I always tend to use a rugby union player or rugby player, for example, being able to sidestep to beat an opponent to score. Because you need to know the definition, then you need to be able to put it into a practical example, all right, of how that would work. You wouldn't just say agility rugby. You give a specific example within the sport and then explain how that benefits the performer. Next, balance. Okay, so there's two types of balance. There's static and then there's dynamic. Okay, being able to retain the center of mass or gravity, okay, over what it says there, your base of support. Basically not falling over when you're standing up straight. Okay, so for example, static balance, if you were to do a handstand, or if you were to get up right now and stand up with one leg, sorry, that would be a static balance. All right, walking across a beam, however, that would be more dynamic balance, gymnastics. So feel free, click on the link again, all right, have a look at a few examples of dynamic and static balance. All right, cardiovascular endurance or aerobic power, as it's now known as. Basically the ability to exercise all body parts at the same time, okay. Cardiovascular fitness is really pretty much in every sport, all right, some more than others. For example, 10,000 meters, marathon, 5,000 meters, 1,500 meters, these are all real prime examples of cardiovascular endurance. Okay, these performers need quite a lot of this in order to be successful in this sport, but also you can apply it to any other sport. As we can see, you need to be able to last 90 minutes of football. All right, in order to do that, you've got to have high levels of cardiovascular endurance. Coordination, moving two or more body parts at the same time. Great example of this always for me is the serve in tennis, and I think with the link there we've got a nice one of Roger Federer hitting a slow motion serve for you. It can apply to not just hand-eye coordination, which is very common, but foot-eye coordination. So a lot of footballers, you know, they see the ball, it's coming to them in the air, they're able to get into a position where they then can use their body or their lower half of their body, like their feet, for example, to control the ball or to dribble with the ball and change direction and look and pass and things like that. These are all foot-eye coordination. Without these, you'd end up losing the ball or falling over. Flexibility, something that I definitely lack in. All right, the range of movement through or possible at a joint. Not just a health component fitness or a skill component fitness, but a very good injury prevention. The more flexible you are, the less likelihood you will have of pulling muscles or tearing muscles. It's relevant to all sports, really. Great examples, not just gymnastics, but you know, you need to be flexible in order to make a really good slide tackle. You need to be flexible as a javelin thrower in order to whip the javelin through the shoulder, okay, and put more power into it as well. So flexibility is incredibly important in all sports. Muscular endurance, the ability to work the same muscle over and over without getting tired. Again, click on the link for any practical examples. Put in the simplest way of saying it, press ups, sit ups, very all related to muscular endurance. You're using your biceps and your triceps and your abdominals for a long period of time. If you were to do weights, for example, if you're doing a weight training program, you wanted to work on your muscular endurance, then you would do high reps and low weight. So for example, you would do 3 sets of 25, say 5 to 10 kilograms dumbbells. And you may not think that's enough, but you will feel the burn, and it's really good for like definition. So if you want your muscles to be defined and have that sort of chiseled look, then this is what you would run. This is what you would be doing, is muscular endurance. Power. Right, there's not many forms of power. Okay, in regards to power, very explosive action. So kicking a football, shooting in football, so you got players like Bale, Ronaldo, Messi, generate a lot of power, kick straight through that ball in order to beat the goalkeeper. That's what they need it for. Generally, when a kicker uses power in this kick, it's generally to either kick as far as he possibly can, so a long crossfield pass, or to beat the goalkeeper in shooting. But you've also got boxing, so a very powerful jab. Okay, one explosive movement. You've got most throwing events are all power. So you've got the hammer, shot put, discus. All these things require a hell of a lot of power in order for the competitor to throw that object as far as possible so they can win. Okay, moving on. Reaction time. Great example of this, okay, is a goalkeeper making a save after a deflected shot, say, because already he's reading where the ball is going. Now he's taking a deflection. He has to react to the stimulus, which is the ball going in an opposite direction, and then readjust his body in order to make the save. I mean, you know, reaction time is really important. You see the stimulus, you react to the stimulus. Okay, so for example, a boxer is defending. A guy throws a massive left hook. He reacts by either hitting him before he gets hit, or he ducks and counter punches. But either way, it's a reaction to the stimulus. The time taken between you reacting to stimulus and then the onset of a movement. So the time it takes for you to recognize what's going on and then your body to react to that situation. Again, please click on the link. Speed, again, something I very much lack in. Okay, so it's not just about distance, it's movement as well. So generally speed is sort of predominantly associated with sprinters. So 100, 200, 400, because they're all official sprints. This would really apply to them. But it's not just that. Okay, so you've got like boxing's another good example. Speed of a punch. Okay, how quickly can that punch be thrown without your opponent seeing it? So again, it's not just a case of an individual running as fast as he possibly can. Okay, so please just check on the link. A sprinter is generally the best sort of example for this, but not necessarily the only example. Strength. Okay, so the ability to overcome a resistance. You've got a couple forms of strength now. So you've got maximal. So this is like the 1 rep max, as it were, the maximum amount of weight you can lift in one go. So your bench press, or you've got your squats and things like that. And you know, it's basically it's designed to give you big muscles. The bigger the lift, okay, the bigger your muscles will be after it when you do it. So it's all about gaining a lot of big muscles and big strength. Dynamic. So this is a little bit more in tune with muscular endurance, basically. It's being able to work that muscle over and over and over and over. Repetitive action without getting tired. Rowers are again a very good example of that. Explosive strength, very similar to power. Okay, so again, a big punch in boxing is basically would be power. Kicking a football would be power. Breaking a tackle in rugby would be power. All right, it's that explosive movement. Long jump, for example, when they hit the board, so you've got speed up to the board and they hit the board, and that's where the power kicks in, when they explode off the board into the sand. That would be a great example of power. And then last but not least, you've got static strength. So it's got isometric movement in scrummaging there, and that is just two forces pushing against each other with no movement. Okay, so scrummaging. You could also, for static strength, you can look at gymnastics as well, as a combination of balance and static strength, where they have to hold a shape as best as they possibly can for long periods of time without moving, and that would be a good example of static strength. So I hope that's helped. Hope you enjoyed it, and please make notes, and just remember that you have to apply these notes, not just learn the definitions, to like a practical example to explain how it's all worked. But thanks for watching.